What you got going on over there?
Trying to keep this stupid fuel canister warm so we can cook our dinner of lentil soup. Today was our first day back on the road after a 2-week hiatus in Las Vegas, where we were staying with our new friend Ellen, and we cruised out 55 miles today to Valley of Fire State Park outside of Vegas.
And we showed up in the dark, so we have no idea what to expect. This park is great from what we hear, but we'll just have to wait until tomorrow to see what it's all about.
It's always weird cruising in at night and then not knowing your surroundings and just being like, well, be a surprise in the morning. So we thought we'd do our best, worst, most unexpected of the day for you guys. So Pat, you want to kick it off?
Sure. My best for the day would probably have to be the sunset that we saw on our way up out of the Las Vegas Valley. It was incredible over the mountains and everything. My worst moment of the day, oh man, that would probably have to be climbing through the wash as Google led us astray. That was probably the worst part. And my most unexpected was probably the incredible elevation drop that we got at the very end of our trip today down into the park. I can only imagine what it looked like during the day, so we'll see it on our way out of here.
Climbing up out of it. Okay, well, my best was that drop. I was pretty excited. I figured Valley of Fire, we're probably going into a valley, but like we cruised for like miles down after a long day of battling. So that was my best.
Yeah.
And then my most unexpected was the dinner that we treated ourselves tonight. We went and stopped at a little gas station / restaurant in the Paiute area and fulfilled our tummies for our last 18-mile ride into the park.
Food is nice.
And then the worst was hiking through the wash and finding a road that wasn't much of a road and making our way to the actual road we were trying to get to. Thanks, Google Maps. This is why I rely on paper maps.
Right. So it's been a hell of a day, as you can tell. And we're ready to get to bed because we didn't get here until like 9 p.m. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys in the morning, and thanks for watching.
All right. Bye. We woke up to this. We're here in Valley Fire, and we're on the Rainbow Vista Trail, stretching out our legs on some hiking, because we're definitely feeling yesterday's ride. Standing next to some ancient petroglyphs, and you can see this kind of rake looking thing with the wavy prongs. That is supposedly a representation of rain. And as you can imagine, rain would be extremely important to these people out here, just like water is important to all of us still. this is Mouse's Tank, which is named after a Paiute Native American that used to be a rabble-rouser back in the 1890s, and he supposedly hid out in this canyon and used this as his main source of drinking water. And it stays around so long because as a stream goes away, this has enough shade and it's deep enough to keep a lot of that evaporation from happening. So it's a pretty steady water source. We haven't had rain out here in a while, so Mouse would be sitting pretty comfortable out here. So from the shape of these rocks in this kind of deep area, it looks like this might be groundwater recharge, and the park we're at right now gets all of this water from groundwater. So this might be one of the spots where the rainwater filters through, kind of sits in this pool. You can tell by the discoloration, but it slowly sinks through the sand and through the gravel layers into the aquifer. That's my hypothesis. Of Lake Havasu in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. This lake or reservoir on the Colorado River is about 150 miles south of the Hoover Dam. We've heard it's a huge party lake in the summer, but recreation definitely isn't its only purpose. All of the reservoirs on the Colorado River send their water to the 7 member states of the Colorado River Compact, which we discussed a few videos back. But the water on Lake Havasu has some seriously long travel commitments. There's 2 different aqueducts that take water from this lake. First, the Colorado River Aqueduct sends water west to LA and San Diego, a project that dates back to the early 1930s. And a second aqueduct, or straw, is called the Central Arizona Project, which sends water east to Phoenix and Tucson, a more recent project from the 1970s and is still ongoing today. In case you didn't know, aqueducts are large canal systems with tunnels, pump stations, and additional reservoirs that transport this water hundreds of miles away. So imagine that. This lake has 2 huge straws pulling about 3 million acre-feet of water to the east and to the west. That's about 975 billion gallons of water per year taken to desert cities and farms. So the golf courses, pools, green lawns, fountains, none would be possible in the desert without this project. If we only looked at residential water use within the household, it takes up only a fraction of that 975 billion gallons pulled from this lake. So what ideas do you have to help conserve the Colorado River? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. standing in front of the London Bridge. But we are in England right now. We are in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And this town was founded by a gentleman named Robert McCullough because he knew that land was cheap in this barren desert. So he bought this lakeside property, built a manufacturing plant, but wanted a way to bring tourists to his newly founded city. So he bought the London Bridge from the city of London in the late 1960s. And they shipped it over here block by block and reassembled it in the exact same way when it spanned the River Thames. And now it spans a portion of Lake Havasu at the Colorado River. Now, can you imagine if this city had never existed? Would there be as much of a strain right now on the Colorado River? Most people don't realize that there are numerous dams south of the Hoover Dam which create Lake Mead. We saw that in our video from Las Vegas. What I'm in front of is the Parker Dam. Holds back the water on the Colorado River to create Lake Havasu, and it's about 155 miles from Hoover Dam. And this dam was funded by California and the Bureau of Reclamation in the 1930s. It turns out it's the deepest dam in the world. Engineers had to dig 235 feet into the bed of the river to find stable bedrock because there's so much sediment flowing through and piled up. So this dam is actually 320 feet high in total, but you can only see this much. It's been a long day of riding from Lake Havasu City. We're back in California and we're on 64 West, which has no shoulder and apparently is a trucker route because there's 18-wheelers buzzing by us with like this much room to spare. And we're exhausted and we found a place to camp, and at least we get a little sunset to end our long day of near-death experiences.